Now, Libyan authorities say more than 2,000 people are dead after a major storm and catastrophic flooding. Another 5,000 to 6,000 people are missing. This happened in eastern Libya, where the town of Derna has been hit especially hard.
Officials say entire villages were washed away as about 8 months of rain fell in a single day. One official describes Derna as a ghost town with bodies lying around in many places there. Phone lines are down, making rescue efforts more difficult, and forecasters say even more rain is on the way.
Live now to CNN's Eleni Jokos following developments from Dubai. It took a while to get the information out because of what happened and because of the area, but we're getting a real sense of it now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. And look, the numbers right now as they stand, over 2,000 people have lost their lives. That number is by many accounts an underestimation because there are around 6,000 people missing. There are reports of bodies lying around. People were swept away by these enormous rains, exacerbating the situation. You had 2 dams that were burst by the pressure of the rainfall, and then that causing even more pressure, basically melting away entire homes and cities. We've seen so many villages. It's not just Derna, but that seems to be sort of the epicenter of the tragedy that's playing out right now. We've seen Benghazi impacted dramatically, Jabal al-Akhdar as well, and other smaller villages that are currently underwater. It is absolutely catastrophic in terms of what we're seeing, but the emergency and ambulance authorities say that there was a lack of preparedness, that the authorities hadn't been monitoring the weather conditions adequately or seeing what sea levels are doing and watching what the weather would be doing. And this storm Daniel had hit Greece as well as Turkey and then moved to the eastern parts of Libya. Search and rescue is currently underway, but as you say, very difficult in terms of communication. In fact, some of the rescue teams can't reach other personnel because they are trapped. Many areas are isolated right now. We don't know the extent of how people are trying to get out, the safety of many of these people that have been trapped in the flooded areas. But Max, it is unbelievably apocalyptic. I mean, some of the images that we're seeing, people hanging onto cars, sitting on buildings, on rooftops right now. We know Turkey is sending help. They're sending 3 aircraft and 168 personnel to Benghazi that will be deployed. The UAE also sending assistance. So too is Qatar, and the UN is currently on the ground. But there's a lack of a centralized command or system to try and get aid out as quickly as possible, because you've got 2 rival factions in the east and the West that have both been vying for power. But this kind of emergency requires coordinated action by government to try and get in assistance as quickly as possible.
Yeah, let's hope they work together. Eleni, thank you so much for joining us from Dubai.
Well, a powerful and deadly storm unleashed devastating floods in eastern Libya. State media reports, quote, an official who says more than 2,000 people are feared to have been killed in one city. The official didn't give a source for his numbers, and the Red Crescent said earlier they estimate 150 to 250 people, I should say, are dead in the city of Derna. Now, the heavy rain inundating, as you can see, this hospital, also flooding streets and knocking out phone service. The region got more than 2/3 of its normal annual rainfall. That is just in one day. It came from the remnants, if you remember us talking about it last week, of Storm Daniel, which pummeled Greece last week. I want to bring in Ben Wiedemann, who joins me now for more. And Ben, this is absolutely devastating. Just give us a sense of what you are hearing from authorities this hour.
Well, the person who made this claim is Prime Minister Osama Hamad, who is the Prime Minister of the breakaway government of eastern Libya based in Benghazi. And he said that at least 2,000 people have been killed as a result of these floods in the city of Derna. In addition to that, he's claiming that as many as 5,000 people may be missing. Now, I've been to Derna. It's a city of about 100,000 people at the bottom of a mountain. Now, a dry riverbed, a wadi, runs through Derna. But it appears that as a result of the amount of rain that Storm Daniel dumped in that area, as you said, 2/3 of its annual rainfall in just one day, that it just ripped through the middle of that city. And what we're seeing on social media are scenes reminiscent of what is going on in Morocco right now in terms of the amount of destruction. Now, it's not altogether clear what the source of this claim of at least 2,000 dead and 5,000 missing is. Prime Minister Hamad didn't actually mention the source, but it's clear that there has been massive damage in Derna and probably massive loss of life as well. As you said, the Libyan Red Crescent Society is saying perhaps as many as 250 dead, but just looking at those images, one suspects, one fears that perhaps the death toll is much, much higher.
Yeah, absolutely. These images, it looks pretty catastrophic as we look at some of the images we had from overnight. In terms of what the Prime Minister said, is he asking for international help? Is he asking for others to help out? Because these images are truly shocking.
Yes, the Libyans are desperately asking for help. In fact, the president of the UAE, Zayed Al Nahyan, has said that they're going to dispatch urgent assistance immediately. The UN is calling for help as well. As I said, it's not altogether clear the extent of the damage, the death toll, the number of missing, but clearly there is a desperate need for help, and the Libyans are asking for it immediately. Lisa?
Yeah, urgent need for relief assistance, clearly. Ben Wiedemann for us there. Thanks very much, Ben.